The channel is The Myer the Merrier, and we are a family of 5 that left the United States for Koh Samui, Thailand in August of 2023. We're still here, and this is our second rainy season here in Koh Samui. Koh Samui's rainy season a little bit different than a lot of the rest of Thailand. The children have several breaks during their school year, which allows us to go out and see different parts of this part of the world. So this time we spent a couple of weeks in Japan. We flew into Tokyo and out of Osaka. But the first step in any vacation out of Koh Samui is getting out of Koh Samui. So it is one of the things that adds a lot of cost. Actually living here is you have to leave the island in order to get to Bangkok. You can get there via flight on Bangkok Airways. You can take a ferry to the mainland and get there either by train, car, or a flight from a less expensive airport. But you do have to make that first step. So we typically spend a decent amount of time in Bangkok. On this particular trip, we spent just the one night in Bangkok before going to Tokyo. And then on the way back, we spent a couple of nights at a different hotel. So we decided to go ahead and just choose an airport hotel when we got to Bangkok prior to leaving for Japan. And an airport hotel, I don't know, there's probably a definition, but to me an airport hotel is just one that's A, close to the airport, and B, has a shuttle that will get you from the airport to the hotel and back. And in this case, there are 2 hotels that fit the bill with Marriott. We do tend toward Marriott's because during my career, my long career in the United States, I spent a lot of time at Marriott's, and I have a platinum elite kind of lifetime not membership, status is what it's called. So we like to spend our time at Marriott's because we get some nice benefits for being there. So again, two airport hotels in Bangkok. One of them is a Courtyard. Now, Courtyards in the United States are not nearly as posh as Courtyards here in Thailand, and so we frequently spend time at the Courtyard in Bangkok, which we love. The Courtyard Suvarnabhumi, that is what we've been told is the correct pronunciation for the airport here in Bangkok, the larger airport here in Bangkok. It's very new. I think it's less than a year old. We spent a night there a while ago with the kids.
Yeah,
and
brand new.
Yeah, and Steve spent a night there by himself.
When I flew back.
So just to talk a little bit more about this La Méridien, where we stayed, it appears to be, and I showed just a little bit of the hotel. It's a pretty giant facility. I mean, this is a golf resort that's also an airport hotel. So it's a little unusual. Now when I take a look at when we're trying to find hotels to stay in the Marriott system, I will tell you we do have to fudge a little bit. Hopefully no one from Marriott's going to get too upset when I say that. But if I put in 2 adults and 3 children, there is really no place for us to stay almost anywhere in Southeast Asia. You get into these 2-bedroom apartments that are way outside of our budget. So what I've learned to do is put in 2 adults and 1 child, because even 2 adults and 2 children doesn't always work. So if I put in 2 adults and 2 children, I won't be able to find these hotels in the Marriott system. But I put in 2 adults and 1 child, and I get both of these hotels in airport hotels within Marriott. The Courtyard, I'm looking at $178 US to stay there, or 13,000 Marriott points, which is, I mean, if you're used to paying with Marriott points, I think that's a pretty good deal. You'll probably find that hotels throughout Asia cost fewer points than you would expect the equivalent hotel somewhere in the United States, even if the dollar amount might not be so different. And then the La Méridien, again, 2 adults, 1 child, you're looking at $200 US or 17,500 points, Marriott points. I haven't really seen the Courtyard during the day because we got in so late and left so early when we stayed there with the kids. But you did see the Courtyard.
It's nice. It's a really nice hotel. It's almost, I don't want to say resort, but the pool is really, really nice and big, and it looked like there maybe were some bar stools in the pool, kind of the swim-up bar. I couldn't really tell. I didn't go in the pool. But
one of the things that we found out, and were slightly surprised, I guess, a little bit about, and we did not stay at Marriott's solely throughout our vacation to Japan. We didn't have that many points, and some of them, the opportunities for stay were a lot more expensive in Tokyo, for instance. But the hotels in Japan, I don't think any of them had a pool, even the Marriotts that were there. So
We stayed in 2 or 3 Marriotts.
we stayed at
3.
might have been three.
Marriotts,
Yeah,
and none of them had
we
pools.
moved around a lot
And
when we
neither
were in
did the
Japan.
other one, yeah.
And so we were thinking that we would be choosing the best pool where we stayed during our vacation, but the best pool that we stayed at was just at one of the 2 Marriotts where we stayed, which is going to be at this La Méridien because it really was a nice pool. So you can take a look at that. Again, the Courtyard is slightly closer to the airport, 2.6 miles versus 3.9 miles. For those of us who speak in terms of miles, for the La Méridien.
And it's very new.
The courtyard is very new. Yeah, the La Méridien was not as new,
No.
but certainly up to date, and a very nice place to stay. Now, in both cases, when we stayed at these airport hotels, we were up and out early enough that we did not get to enjoy whatever breakfast would have come with my status. So they do give you these kind of takeaway breakfasts, and they change. They're different from one place to another. Sometimes you get a breakfast sandwich. Sometimes you just get a little Danish or something like that, but there is something for you to get you to the airport and be. So I think I would say we really enjoyed our stay at La Méridien. I think we would stay there again.
Yeah.
But we would also stay at the Courtyard again. The room at the La Méridien was bigger. I don't know that we had a balcony at the Courtyard. We had a balcony with a really nice view at the La Méridien, and there was a little sofa in the room. Now, it says a twin bed when you take a look at these, and it's not a twin bed like we think of in the United States. It's more like maybe a full size. I don't know if anybody has a full size bed. So for us to sleep with one of the kids is really easy to do. And actually, if Maggie didn't want to stay on the sofa all night, both of the girls and I could pretty easily sleep in one of these beds. So it's not like it's a large bed, but it certainly isn't a small bed either. As they get older, we're not going to be able to fudge this and kind of fit in one room. We're going to end up having to be in a room that at least is large enough for a rollaway or something like that. But we are seeing, we take a look at this room, and we thought they were both very nice. A little less expensive at the Courtyard, and a little nicer view, I think, at La Méridien.
I felt like we were really out there at the La Méridien. Like it's pretty isolated. It's like it's almost, wasn't it kind of gated? They had,
There
it was like
were
a gated thing.
2 security gates in order to get in. Now, I think we could, if you would have been staying there a little bit longer, you probably could have walked out. I think there were some restaurants in both cases. Sometimes you kind of like to get out and get that street food when you're in Thailand, and I think we could have done that, but we weren't really there long enough in either case to venture outside the hotel gates. So
it was nice. They both are nice.
but I think we would try it either way once again when traveling in and out of Bangkok, if we're trying to kind of lessen the amount of time between the flight getting into Bangkok and leaving once again. One other thing that I'd like to show you is this heavy hors d'oeuvres that was available to us because of my status in the evening at the La Méridien. You can see the hors d'oeuvres are quite nice. Steve and I each got 2 glasses of wine. I think the kids could have each gotten a couple of drinks. It's 640 baht per person if you are not platinum, but for us it was free and quite nice. And we would like you to like and subscribe our channel.
Please.
Please.